My bangs are so long. I need to get them cut by a professional this time, and not by me. Welcome back or welcome to the channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Martin. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. It's back to school season, which means we have to go back to the everyday makeup look routine. The idea for this video honestly comes from my childhood, because growing up I loved watching back to school content, like back to school makeup looks and back to school outfits. I would always like sit on my couch, open my laptop and search back to school makeup tutorial. There was one thing in common. All of these videos were like super natural, no makeup, just concealer, mascara, a lip gloss and call it a day. Like that's all you get, which there's nothing wrong with. Obviously if you like that, that's you and that's totally fine, but I love makeup and I always wanted something more. So I always wondered, what is a school appropriate makeup look that like requires a bit more so I can feel like I did more, because honestly doing my makeup is kind of like therapy, not gonna lie, but still looks natural and it's not like bam, euphoria makeup for school. Which, by the way, I am thinking of filming a week worth of euphoria makeup looks for college, so let me know if you're interested on that. So I figured, wait, I kind of do a lot more than just concealer, mascara and lip gloss, and I think it's still a pretty natural school slash college appropriate look. So why don't I just film my default university makeup routine and do a tutorial out of it? So that's what I'm here to do today. This is a look, so if you want to see how I achieved this, let's go. Okay, first things first, I always start with sunscreen. I mean, I always start with skincare, but to be honest, I'm saving that for a different video, like a Vogue Beauty Secrets type thing. Because I really want to do that. We don't know, no one asked for it, but I really want to do it. But besides skincare, sunscreen is the first step. Next up is primer. I like to use a mattifying primer. I have oily skin, and the last thing I need in school is for my makeup to be bothering me. I hate having like feeling like my makeup is oily or my face is oily. Next thing I do is concealer, and you will not catch me leaving the house without concealer on. If I don't have like any time to do my makeup, at least I have concealer, because I don't like the dark circles. I'm really pale, so you can see them a lot. So first I blend everything with this wave of brush, and then I use a beauty blender to make sure it's all good. I'm gonna move on to powder. Oh my god! I'm gonna use the first of a few powders, but like I said, oily skin, I want to make sure this lasts all day. This one, I like to apply it right under my eyes to make sure the concealer does not crease. Other times I use a blending brush for like your crease, so both work. Next up, I use a pressed powder that's kind of like my skin color, and I go under my eyes and over my eyes, and then I take just a tiny bit more and go everywhere else. Kind of like it's a powder foundation, but it's not. One more powder, last one. It's the Fenty Beauty Invisimatte blotting powder. Like I said, oily skin, and we have the entire school day ahead of us. It's almost over, and this is like my third one, I believe. I love this powder a lot. I focus the powder on my nose and my forehead and smile lines, which is where I get oily the most. Moving on to brows, I have a few different products I like to use. Sometimes I go in with a pencil to fill them in, and then a clear brow gel. Other times I go in with just a tinted brow gel. But I always start by brushing my brows with a big spoolie. Today, since I'm filming and I'm not actually going to school, I do have a bit more time, so I'm gonna do the pencil and brow gel instead. I don't fill them in a lot because mine are pretty dark and thick already, so I just do like a line under pretty much, and then I blend everything. Now the clear gel, which sometimes works wonders, sometimes it doesn't, because I like to try and keep them thick, but sometimes gel does too much and keeps them like thin. I don't like that. Okay, my next step is going to be some bronzer and contour and all of that. When I have more time, I like to use a bronzer stick before and then some powder, but if I don't have a lot of time or if I'm not really feeling it that day, I'll just use a powder bronzer instead. But let's do the whole thing today. I'm using this one from Rare Beauty. And I recently became a sponge over brush girly, so I'm gonna use a sponge to blend this in. While I'm doing my makeup, I like to apply a lip plumper to prep my lips while I'm working on the rest of my face. So by the time I get to my lips, which is usually my last step or one of my last steps, my lips are all plumped and ready to go. Back to the bronzer, I'm going to use a big brush and just go over everything. I used to use another brush for my bronzer, a more precise one, but when I'm getting ready for school, sometimes I don't have that much time, so I just go with this one instead because it's easier and it gets the work done. I'm also going to do my nose, but for that I use like a smaller blending brush. That's it. Now blush is like the most different step in my makeup routine every day, I would say, because every day I like to go for something different. I usually start by either a liquid or a cream blush, and then I do some powder blush on top. So I'm gonna use the one I use the most today, which is everyone's favorite, the Rare Beauty liquid blush, but just know that I change it quite often. Also, the shade I go for and the blush I go for also depends on what outfit I'm wearing, because sometimes I want something more pink, sometimes I want something more peachy or red, more sparkly, more matte, so it kind of changes every day. Now I use some powder blush on top, not only because I love blush, but also I feel like it helps setting the blush and helps it last longer, if that makes sense. If I ever feel like it's crazy and I look super pink, I just go in with like a big fluffy brush and blend everything again. Now highlighter is another step that also really depends on how I'm feeling that day, or if I want something a bit more colorful or more natural or more sparkly, but usually I go for the same one because I already have that palette opened, but it kind of changes every day, just like the blush. Another thing that also changes quite a bit is my eye makeup. Sometimes if I feel like my outfit's a bit more basic, doesn't have a lot of color, and if I do have a bit of extra time before leaving the house, I go in for something a bit more different or more colorful, or I do like a graphic eyeliner, something like that. However, when I don't have the time or I don't really feel super creative on that day and just want something quick that I know that will work, I go in for the same look that I'm going to show you. So I take two super like regular normal brown shades. This one, as you can see, I've hit the pan once this shadow is over, I'm going to be super sad. I also take a little bit of this one. I mix them both and I apply them to my crease. Okay, now I'm going to use a shimmery shadow all over my lid from the same palette. I'm gonna use this shade right here. It's kind of like a champagne type of color. And for my inner corners, I'm going to use a pencil brush and use this shade right here, which looks kind of white but is a duochrome, so it shifts a little bit to pink. The way I do my eyeliner for school is kind of different every day, because sometimes I like doing liquid liner, but sometimes I fear that I won't have the time to do it, because if I'm going to do liquid liner, I want to make sure I have the time not only to do it, but also to take it off and do it again in case I mess up. So sometimes if I don't have time, I go for another option, which is just a pencil and some shadow on top. And that's what I'm going for today. So for my pencil, I'm going to use this one from REM Beauty, and it's in the shade Midnight Black. The way I do it is to draw a small little line on the outer corner. It doesn't need to be perfect, like literally just like that. And then I take an angular brush like this one. What I do is, without any product on the brush, I go on top of this pencil and start creating the shape that I want by smudging the pencil. It looks like a soft baby wing. After that, I like to go in with some eyeshadow on top to make sure it's set and make sure it's not going to smudge throughout the day. I don't necessarily use a black shadow because I want to keep this soft look going. So I'm going to use this shadow right here. I take some in the same brush and just go on top. Moving on to my lashes, I always curl them before applying my mascara. And mascara for my school makeup is a really important step because I don't want it to smudge throughout the day. Like I've mentioned, I have oily skin, so sometimes my mascara smudges on my lower lash line and my outer corners. I don't want that. So I like to go for something waterproof or water resistant because I feel like those don't really create that smudge under the eye. That's the reason why I use the Rare Beauty mascara. It's amazing and it's water resistant. I try to be so careful because the brush is so big and it's very liquidy. Last step, my lips. I usually do something different every day. It's either some sort of combination between all of this. So I usually line my lips with one of these two lip liners, or either a pinkish shade or a more brown tone. And then sometimes I use lipstick, sometimes I only use lip gloss, sometimes I use both. So for lipstick, I either go with this one, super pretty, like a pinkish nude, or this one that is a bit darker. And then I sometimes also go for a Fenty gloss or a butter gloss from NYX. For today, I'm gonna go with these two, so like a nude-ish brown lip liner and a nude-ish pink lipstick. So yeah, that is it for my everyday college slash school makeup look, I guess. This is just like my default. I don't really care, or I don't really have the time, or I don't really feel creative today makeup. this is the go-to when everything else fails. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all a good school year. I have a lot more makeup videos here on the channel, so make sure to subscribe and leave a like, and check out my TikTok because I'm way more active over there. I upload on TikTok every single day, mostly makeup content. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram. All the links for that will be in the description below. If you enjoy makeup, fashion, and concert vlogs, you can find all of that and more here on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a good school year. Good luck. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!